Good morning, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, then thank you for stopping by. My name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. In today's video, I am doing a twin flame reading for the Twin Flame Collective. So this reading is intended exclusively and specifically for twin flames. Now, with that being said, I also know that some of you are familiar with the term twin flame and may have felt drawn to this video, but you might not yet be 100% sure whether the connection you are dealing with is a twin flame connection. And if this is the case, I don't believe in coincidences. I do believe we are drawn to things for a reason because we are guided by our intuition. So there may still be a message for whatever form of love connection you are dealing with at this time. So I'm going to start today by shuffling the Energy Oracle Cards deck. Be sure to like this video and also subscribe if you haven't yet, because by liking and subscribing, you are virtually transmitting your energy to me, and I'm actually able to pick up on that energy more clearly and bring forth more specific and accurate messages for you. Now, with that being said, not every message channeled here will likely be for you. In fact, many of these messages may be for specific people part of this collective. So always be sure to use your intuition as your guide above all else. Only take what resonates with you and what feels good to you in your heart and soul. One card has already flown out of the deck, which is really interesting because I felt some resistance to doing this reading today. You've probably heard other twin flame readers speak on this, but collectively we are processing so much right now. There are huge energetic shifts and upgrades taking place. And because of this, many of us, especially the Divine Feminine, is really being guided to take time to rest physically and of course mentally as well. And I was kind of feeling that today, but I really also wanted to share these messages to get out this reading to those of you who might be looking for a little bit of guidance. So 2 cards have come out of the deck. I'm going to get those now. Angel of Love and All Tied Up. With Angel of Love, I usually connect this card to unconditional love, specifically the kind of unconditional love we are learning and experiencing, evolving to be capable of experiencing as humans within the Twin Flame connection. And what I mean by that is unconditional love is actually our natural state of being as souls. But when we take on these physical human bodies and minds, we are now encumbered also by this ego, by the primal human brain, in a sense that is still with us, that has a need for belonging, being part of a tribe. It's almost like essential to its survival, has a need for these rules and conditions that we create around love artificially. It's not our natural state as humans. And so twin flames, a huge part of our mission here on earth, is to break down these walls and barriers, usually stemming from this ego mind, sometimes picked up from society as well, that prevent us from fully experiencing and radiating this unconditionally loving frequency, both to ourselves and to others. I'm curious why this is coming up right now at this time. Hopefully in the next cards I'm pulling here, we can get a little bit of clarification. The next card that came out was All Tied Up in the upright position, and I instantly felt a very divine masculine energy from this card. I'm going to go ahead and read from the guidebook. I'm instantaneously feeling a divine masculine who is feeling a lot of this powerful, intense love energy flowing through him, this unconditionally loving energy, frequency, emotion, but isn't necessarily speaking it in the physical. I'm feeling this contrast between what he's feeling and perhaps what he is fully communicating with words. And this card says, this card shows a woman tied up with vines around her wrists, body, and arms. Receiving this card upright represents a situation in your life where things seem to be severely stuck. And as I said that, I instantaneously felt as though this situation that feels severely stuck for someone I'm connecting with here could quite literally just be your twin flame connection as it is playing out in the physical in general. But hopefully we'll get more details on that later. Whatever is holding things up, the restrictions may be feeling quite oppressive at this time. This may also be referring to a divine masculine who simply feels stuck in regards to how to move forward in this connection. I feel as though I'm picking up on a masculine who again is feeling this angel of love energy, this warm, unconditionally loving energy toward his divine feminine, just like breaking open with love, which fits because we've been talking about the divine masculine, especially going through major upgrades through the heart chakra center. But then, of course, as I was speaking, the constraints card came out. So it's like, but there's something holding him back, all tied up, constraints. It's like he's somehow being held back or feels stuck in some sense. With the World card, the third card I pulled here coming out in the upright position as well, I'm sensing a lot of outsider energy from this divine masculine. I feel as though he feels like he is on the outside looking in of the divine feminine's life, but also feeling this stuckness, this how do I move forward in this connection? It's interesting we're picking up on the divine masculine right now because usually when I start these readings, because most of us here in this space as part of this channel, the majority of us identify as the divine feminine, which means that's usually the predominant energy I pick up on. But the fact we're getting so much divine masculine early in this reading, in spite of him not being the dominant energy on this channel, tells me that whatever he is feeling very strongly and intensely. This energetic signal from him is really strong at this time, which also means if you are the divine feminine, it's very likely you have felt some of this energy from the divine masculine, which could be kind of strange for you because again, I do feel that in the physical, there's this stuckness, there's this held backness, so to speak. From the Moonology deck, a new start is coming, new moon. I feel the masculine saying to the divine feminine, for some reason I heard the word wait. Now, I'm not really sure how this applies. I feel as though this divine masculine is afraid of the divine feminine moving on with her life and on some energetic level is saying, hold space for me, like wait for me in the sense that I'm coming in the future. Now, of course, this is not a guidance message. I'm simply speaking what the divine masculine could be feeling at this time. You as the divine feminine, if you are the divine feminine listening, you have choices to make, free will within your own life experience. And I've spoken before about many divine feminines who are being called to just simply rise into their power, to step into their power that could require, from the divine masculine's perspective, this appearance as though she is leaving him behind by rising into her power, by becoming her best self. And it may even feel this way to her, but this doesn't necessarily mean, and in fact, if by rising into your power, you feel as though you're leaving the masculine behind, know that that fear is really just an illusion of the ego, because when it comes to true twin flame connection, when we make the choice to step into our power, to rise into the highest version of ourselves, it may look as though in the physical we are leaving the other behind, but what we are really doing is energetically supporting them, leaving space for them to also grow, to also rise. And true twin flame counterparts will always mirror one another's growth in the same way. In the past, they may have mirrored one another's wounding. So keep that in mind. I'm simply speaking what I feel the divine masculine potentially feeling, and even partially from, a physical, human, even somewhat ego-based perspective that we all have, this fear of being left behind. That's kind of what I'm getting from this masculine in the 3D right now. But also this determination to create this new start, this new beginning, even though I don't feel that that's showing in the physical yet. So I am going to reshuffle the cards. I just saw the number 1212 on the recording timer, which is really interesting because, of course, we just experienced the 1212 portal. By the way, I meant to say this at the beginning, but I would love if you would leave me a comment and let me know if you felt any kind of energy change or shift over the last few days. I personally felt that after the 1212 portal, it was almost as though the world looked a bit brighter, a bit different. I felt this kind of shift taking place within my own reality, and I'm curious if anyone tuning in here felt that as well, or felt some kind of shift on that 12/12 day and with that portal. Angel of Strength in the reverse position. This card in different positions has been showing itself very frequently in our readings. I do feel now I'm channeling a bit of divine feminine energy in her physical 3D form. The reason I say that is because I do like to make a distinction between what the masculine and feminine are feeling from a physical 3D, very human-based perspective, and what they could be feeling beneath the surface on a soul level, on an energetic level, because sometimes those things can be very different and even sometimes opposite. Angel of Strength reversed and financial constraints in the upright position coming out here. I do feel this is probably a message just for one or a few divine feminines, but I do sense a divine feminine worrying about money because, and this has something to do with independence. Whether this is that she is disconnected from someone in her life who provided for her financially or provided a sense of stability, or this could be that she left a job, and I heard illusion of stability, so she could have left some kind of job that had this illusion of endless financial security, but it wasn't making her happy. It didn't fill her with passion. It didn't make her feel as though she was utilizing her passions and gifts. Now, again, this won't be for everyone, but if you are this divine feminine who has had some worries emerging regarding something to do with your stability, literally financially in the world in some sense, I do feel that I have a message for you coming out here. Yeah, anxiety in the reverse. Right as I was talking about her being anxious about this situation, I feel spirit coming in here to say, whatever you're anxious about won't come to pass. That thing that you are fearing that will happen won't happen. I feel that message was intentionally vague because someone might have something very specific that they're worried about, and they're really being guided to release that fear through surrendering into deeper levels of trust. Now, I am going to read a little bit from the guidebook about this anxiety reversed card because I am still sensing there is some final message for this divine feminine struggling with this worry. Finally, relief. The nightmare of a card reversed could mean one of two things. Either a recent problem is on its way out, causing you to feel more relaxed, or you have mastered the old habit of worry and have freed yourself from the anxiety within. As I read that, I instantly got the guidance. This, for many of you, will be something in the process of happening, like through continuing to trust regardless of your fears about the situation, continuing to move forward, you are not only going to find that as you increase in your sense of self-confidence, self-security within, this situation that you are afraid of naturally dissolves, but also you are actually unlearning a pattern of worry or anxiety within you that is almost in a sense a kind of karmic pattern within yourself, a sort of cycle that you are breaking out of. This could even be a generational cycle. This could be some pattern of worry or anxiety picked up from your family, from your family line. Specifically, I'm seeing a mother and potentially even a grandmother. So this could be a divine feminine picking up this habit of worry or anxiety through her maternal line, and you are the one breaking this so-called generational curse. Now, I know this message won't be for everyone, so do let me know if this resonates with you in some way. Also, if you are struggling with fears specifically regarding finances, many of these money-related, finance-related fears are ones that we pick up from the collective. It is collective programming around finances, around abundance. So I do have a 7-chakra money clearing subliminal meditation. This is really powerful because it actually reaches into the depths of each chakra center where we store these limiting beliefs and ideas about feelings of security and trust around finances. And it can really assist you in unlocking your abundance mentality, which will allow you to become more magnetic for increased finances, increased abundance, and a greater sense of security and trust around your coming abundance. So the link to this 7-chakra money clearing subliminal is in the pinned comment and description. This comes from my website, soundandsoulful.com. So as you can see on the screen, on this website, I've created over 100 subliminals for essentially every area of life. I do also have an entire category of subliminals for twin flames, for the twin flame path. So there is a lot to explore here. You can access all of them under my membership program, and you will also receive a free 7-day trial to try out any of them completely for free. So again, all of the information on that is linked in the pinned comment and description under this video. If you find that these feelings of anxiety as the divine feminine are not specifically finance or money related, but are more generalized, I also will leave a link to a subliminal for deep anxiety relief. So that will also be under this video as well. And I'm just shuffling the Starseed Oracle deck here because I don't feel we're finished with these messages for this divine feminine. And of course, loosen your grip, coping mechanisms, density, addiction. So what I heard with addiction is some divine feminine here could actually be dealing with a subconscious addiction to her own patterns of anxiety and worry. I heard your worry is a way to control or to feel as though you are in control. And this is really interesting because as I was meditating, I was really channeling a lot of information about a divine feminine who is still in the process of releasing control, but to the point where it's become very subconscious. I heard that some of your control mechanisms or our control mechanisms as the divine feminine can actually be deeply unconscious and can even on the surface look positive or look productive or look what we would call normal, such as this worry and anxiety. Worrying and having anxiety about things like our work, like our finances, like our life is extremely normalized in today's society. However, for the divine feminine in the twin flame collective, these kinds of worries could be, again, an addiction in a sense, an emotional addiction. Because by worrying about something, we can then believe falsely that we have some kind of control over that situation or person or relationship through our worry about it. So regardless of what you are worrying about, divine feminine, I do feel you being called to, quite literally, as this card says, loosen your grip, release this addiction to these cycles of worry and anxiety, break this potentially even a generational curse of the habit of worrying, and lean into your effortless ability to manifest as a result of who you are, not what you do. As the divine feminine, we are powerful. We are incredibly magnetic for all of our desires, including and above all else for our divine masculine when we are in that power state, that magnetic state. Now, as I was rambling on there, the card Fall Into My Arms came out, and I just got a wave of chills because, of course, this card says surrender, holding the opposites, extremes of life. And I do feel the need to actually read from the guidebook for this card as well. And I'm pretty sure this is the line we came to the guidebook to read. The polarity and separation can be excruciating when your soul remembers the oneness of Source, but at the same time, it can be incredibly glorious and sweet. So often we see things as either good or bad. When things go well, we make it mean that we're being rewarded, and when things are bad, then perhaps we've done something wrong. However, we're all here to expand and grow, and it's through the extremes of life that we do exactly that. Really beautiful. And the reason I said that I feel that line was the reason we came to the guidebook is it seems to speak directly to what I feel many divine feminines could be feeling in regards to their twin flame connection right now. As the guidebook said, it's as though the feeling of oneness with the divine masculine spiritually on a soul level, on an energetic level, can actually cause more feelings of pain when we focus on the fact that physically we are separated. And I feel like that is why this divine feminine, and now I'm specifically speaking to the relationship aspect of this journey, I feel she's really being called into surrendering, again, not just these worries and anxieties regarding her life, her career, her finances, her work, her passion, whatever the case may be, but also specifically in regards to this connection itself as it's playing out in the physical. She is being guided to remember the oneness, and in seeing the oneness between her and her divine masculine, not to feel the separation, if that makes sense. I know it sounds kind of paradoxical, but I do feel a divine feminine who it's like, and perhaps this could even have to do with the fact that the masculine is feeling this connection so intensely right now. He's sending an increased amount of emotional energy energetically to the divine feminine that she is then picking up on in spite of this potential time of separation or disconnect in the physical. And this could be causing her to feel, I heard confused, but also to feel this contrast in a painful way. This, I feel so one with you at the soul and so disconnected from you at the earth plane level. And I do feel she's being guided again to continue rising into her power, into her confidence, releasing these anxieties, moving into deeper levels of surrender by not allowing herself to dwell in how is this going to work out? Is it going to work out? What should I do about this person or situation? But to shift her focus back to the oneness on a soul level, on an energetic level, to leave it there and then continue to rise in her power in this world, in this life, whatever that means for this connection, to trust the outcomes will fall into place through that rise into her power, through that shift into a surrender state. Now, I would like to also recommend my Twin Flame Surrender Subliminal. This is my absolute favorite at the moment of my Twin Flame Subliminals I've created, and many of you have also given me immensely positive feedback for this as well. You've talked about how this has helped you to shift your mindset, to feel deeper levels of peace and energetic soul level connectedness with your Twin Flame. So the link to this subliminal will be in the pinned comment and description. You can click that link and explore more about the energetic benefits I have infused into the affirmations embedded in this subliminal track. So I really want to dig deeper into this fall into your arms or fall into my arms card. Is there anything else I can channel about this fall into my arms card here? In the love word scramble, the words worm and Japan came out here. Now, for those of you who are new, the love word scramble is just where I channel specific words that will connect with certain individuals in personal ways. It's definitely not for everyone. What else is going on with this fall into my arms card? What does the Divine Feminine need to know right now? The hostilities card in the upright position, so something to do with conflict. I heard this could potentially be inner conflict, a conflict within the self. Why is this Divine Feminine feeling an inner conflict? Of course, Magician and the Mirror in the upright position. I am saying of course because this is one of the 2 cards in this deck I connect with twin flame connection, specifically with the balance of energies, the yin and yang energies within a twin flame connection, the divine masculine and divine feminine. I just hear this divine feminine saying, I have this inner conflict because I don't know how this is going to come into balance, how this is going to work out. What else is this divine feminine feeling? Why is this divine feminine feeling inner conflicts? Honeymoon, enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. So there could be a divine feminine who has found herself reflecting on what we call the love bubble phase in twin flame connection. I hear her saying, I keep thinking about when things were good or when things were amazing between us in the physical. I feel like there is some specific memory coming up for a certain divine feminine. This won't be for everyone, but for some divine feminine, there was some period of time where I heard rose-colored glasses. It's like something about this situation in your memory is extremely vivid and rosy and beautiful. And maybe it's the time of year. It could be that there's something about the holidays or this time of year that you spent with your masculine in a prior year that has been coming to the forefront of your memory because it's, again, this same time of year. But I heard, but things are so different now in the physical. There could be this kind of sad nostalgia for a divine feminine looking back on, again, this kind of love bubble phase, this time when things were, in her words, things were good back then between us. Things were amazing. Again, that message probably will just be for one person or a few people here. There could also be something about a boat in this situation. I'm not sure what exactly. The last name Smith came out here. Also the words atomic and labor. So I am now going to be speaking to the divine masculine and divine feminine from their physical 3D perspective. And then I will be channeling higher self love messages in the extended. So for those of you who are part of our Patreon community, you can access the extended through the link in the pinned comment and description box below. But for now, I do want to get into some messages on what is going on in the 3D and the physical between these twin flames I am channeling. Community in the upright position. I heard getting back to your roots. I don't know if that connects with someone, like someone is doing some kind of genealogy work or went to some kind of family reunion, or maybe this is just speaking to the fact that this is a holiday season. So there's a lot of reconnection with family happening at this time. I feel this is something that may actually go for both twins because I hadn't specified which counterpart I was speaking to when this card came out from the deck. So I want to know specifically what's going on with the divine feminine in the physical 3D world. The name Casey, Ohio, and someone came out here, if that connects with anyone. So what is going on with the divine feminine? First chakra in the upright position. Maybe this is what that saying, getting back to your roots, that I channeled is actually referring to, because the first chakra card is the root chakra. So maybe really what I was channeling there is getting back to her foundations, energetically building a foundation within herself, building a sense of stability and security within herself in the physical world in some way, healing the root chakra. That could connect with someone. How is this divine feminine healing her root chakra energy? What is going on here? Patience. Slowing down is what I heard. So I do feel as the divine feminine, you could be feeling guided to slow down in your life in some sense, to take a lot of time for yourself to rest, to recuperate. I feel like this healing is something you're not so much needing to do actively, but something that is happening within you at a very deep cellular level. And I feel Spirit here saying, this isn't something you have to force or push. And in fact, when you step into that state of, I need to control this healing, I need to push this healing forward, that's actually partially your ego, again, trying to control, trying to step out of that surrender state. Actually, this healing isn't something you're forcing or even really actively doing. It is something that is happening within you very naturally. I'm hearing the metaphor of like the same way your body heals a cut or a wound on its own. When our body is healing, we don't push or force something into being. We simply allow ourselves the time and space to rest. We essentially give our body the time and the space and the fuel to be able to heal itself. And I'm feeling your energy field, your soul healing is happening the same way. It's not that you are forcing or pushing or doing this healing on yourself. It's that you are giving yourself time and space to allow this healing to transform you, to happen within you. And also with the patience card, I simply heard, be patient with yourself, be patient with this healing process here. And remember that whenever you feel the need to push something into place, to push this healing into being, that really that's being motivated from the unconscious parts of your ego and your ego's need to control this person, this connection, or this situation. Storm warning in the reverse position. I heard the worst is behind you. So there could be a divine feminine who has been thinking about or has been through some kind of storm in her life very recently. I am kind of feeling that for this divine feminine, this happened within the last year, potentially within the last 9 months specifically. The words play, hollow, and idea came out here, if that connects with you in some way. But I am feeling like this divine feminine has been through some kind of storm, and that is why this healing needs to take place now. This healing couldn't happen during the storm. I'm hearing fight or flight, so this could have caused a lot of anxiety, whatever this storm situation was. But it's almost as though this healing couldn't happen during the storm, but it also couldn't have happened without the storm. And I know that's going to sound really strange, but it's as though this storm was actually more of an earthquake that was meant to shake up your life in some way. And I also heard to shake certain things out of your life physically in order to allow you that time and that space to heal. I keep hearing this emphasis like, although you didn't want that storm to happen, which again, I do feel could be some kind of a situation of separation between you and your person, some kind of climax point in a negative sense within your connection. Although you didn't want this to happen from your human perspective, it's as though this thing had to happen, this storm had to happen to shake out this person, this situation, whatever it was, from your physical reality, potentially temporarily, but to allow yourself the time and the space to heal in a way that you couldn't have prior to and without the occurrence of this storm. So I hope that connects with someone in a meaningful way. I'm being intentionally vague here because I do feel the divine feminine I'm speaking to there will know what I'm referring to and how it applies for you. So now I'm going to be speaking to the divine masculine from his physical 3D perspective. And I keep feeling pulled to my shoebox messages. These are just words or phrases that I literally keep in a shoebox, as the name suggests. And I feel the divine masculine from his physical perspective has a message here for the divine feminine. So what does this divine masculine want to say to the divine feminine from a physical 3D perspective? Guys, there are so many cards that just flew out, but I feel that this masculine might have a lot to say. So I'm just going to go ahead and take everything that came out of this shoebox here. Also, the words hill, Indian, and wire came out, if that connects with you from the love word scramble. Okay, so these messages are conversation, split energy, let's not be strangers, missed calls, confused, karmic, I remember, will you stay, reconnecting, longing. Okay, so the divine masculine I'm speaking to here or channeling here is definitely in some kind of period of separation from the divine feminine. Whether this means emotionally, mentally, or physically will depend on the person who is receiving this message from the reading. I'm also sensing a lot of longing. I heard heart longing, soul longing, like longing that is a literal pull on his soul. It's as though like a string is attached from his heart to the divine feminine, and now he's feeling a tug on it, which, by the way, is a very common energetic sensation we can experience as twin flames. And this longing is making him want to reconnect with the divine feminine in the physical, but also feeling this confusion and split energy about this reconnection for some reason. On top of that, I do feel him being afraid. It's like with let's not be strangers and will you stay? I'm feeling this kind of energetic desperation, this feeling of I'm afraid of you becoming a stranger. With I remember, I see him actually looking back. It's funny, if you were a divine feminine who connected with that honeymoon card, and I said that I felt a divine feminine getting nostalgic, looking back on something, some kind of love bubble phase or something, a beautiful warm memory in the past with her masculine, I feel that actually, ironically, part of what you could be sensing is the fact that your divine masculine has been so heavily thinking about this, remembering the past with you, that you are now picking up in part on this energy that is being transferred from him. However, again, with split energy and confusion kind of being an overarching energy here, I feel he still has this conflict within himself for some reason. Now, in the extended version of this reading, I am going to channel messages about why this divine masculine is feeling confusion, is feeling split energy about this longing, about reconnecting, and why he could, as we said in the beginning, still feel tied up or held back in some sense from reaching out, from moving forward in the physical. So again, that will be channeled in the extended, which is linked under this video in the pinned comment and description. With conversation and missed calls, obviously there literally could have been a situation where someone tried to call the other and the other didn't answer. This could simply indicate a masculine, again, wanting to reach out via phone in some way, either calling, texting, messaging. But I almost feel this fear. It's like, I'm afraid you will intentionally miss my calls. Like there's almost a little bit of pride getting in the way here. Like I'm afraid that if I reach out to you in the physical, in some sense that you won't answer the phone in this kind of phone metaphor here. But again, I will be channeling more information on that in the extended version. So now I'm going to put back all of these cards. And I'm just going to pull one final message for us from the Rumi Oracle before we head over together to the extended version of the reading. So what is one final message for the twin flames I am channeling here in this reading? What do twin flames listening to this reading need to know at this time? Two cards actually came out, even though I only really intended to pull one. But again, I don't believe in coincidences or accidents. The number 5 card came out, by the way, and you might be seeing some of the number 555. These cards are Sacred Convergence and I Surge on the Uprising Wave of Love. So I'm going to read from the Sacred Convergence card in the guidebook. Roaming about town, the master was holding a light, saying, I am weary of the demons and the beasts. A human is what I am longing for. The human cannot be found. We have searched. What cannot be found is what I am longing for. For some reason, right as I read that, I have to pause because I heard this reconnection point back to when we were talking about a divine feminine feeling the oneness with her divine masculine, but also feeling the separation in the physical, and this causing like an excruciating pain at times. But I feel spirit coming in here to say when you are longing for something, you can't find it. So it's like this feeling of I'm longing for the divine masculine in the physical is keeping you outside of that actual surrender state, that oneness. You are actually sharing with them energetically and on a soul level. So I'm going to continue reading the poem here. Although poor and needy, I will not accept small pieces of ruby. The mine of the finest rubies is what I am longing for. One hand holding a cup of wine, and the other the curls of the beloved. A dance like this in the middle of the circle is what I am longing for. How I have longed for you, my very own. Look no further, for the family beyond your family, the relationship beyond all other relationships, the great love that unveils all other loves to be mere reflections of the one great and true love is here. For you, now. Come to me. We are to be one now in sacred convergence of silent, eternal passion. Sacred convergence indicates a coming together of souls in alignment with a greater cause. This greater cause is both personal and impersonal. There is an aspect of joining together for common purpose, although that purpose may not be immediately obvious at a level of day-to-day consciousness. The common soul purpose may be to lift each other into greater love and self-belief, to shed fear and open the heart, filling each individual soul with more holy fire for its personal, passionate purpose. I feel this really strongly speaks to the way in which twin flames energetically catalyze and support one another regardless of the status or the existence of what we call the physical 3D relationship with our twin flame, regardless of whether they are speaking in the physical together or even in any kind of contact at all. They are always energetically supporting, uplifting, healing, shifting one another through their connection, that energetic aspect of connection that happens in the soul. So I really hope that message reached someone who needed to hear it. And really just overall, I hope that wherever you are listening to this reading, you picked up some message that was significant for you. As always, only take what connects and feels good and leave the rest. The links to the subliminals I recommended during this reading, which were the 7 chakra money clearing, deep anxiety relief, and twin flame surrender, are all linked in the pinned comment and description. Also in those spaces is a link to the extended version, which is where we are headed to now, to provide more details and elaboration on these messages, as well as channeled higher self-love messages from both the divine masculine and divine feminine to one another. So for those of you joining me in the extended, I will talk to you over there. For the rest of you, I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful rest of your day, and I will talk to you again in the next reading.